Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video I am going to be giving you my preview for the Everton Manchester United game at Goodison Park on Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. So I am going to be giving you some team news. Also a bit later on in the video I am going to be giving you my starting 11 prediction, but just before I delve into the preview I just want to confirm that Manchester United have been drawn against Lask in the Europa League last 16. Lask, of course, are an Austrian team. I think they're the leaders of the Austrian league at the moment. But personally, I've never heard of Lask, to be quite honest with you. I think this is the first time, they have progressed to the stage of this competition. And ties, will be played on the 12th of March and the 19th of March. So that's who Manchester United have got in the last 16 of the Europa League. But like I did mention, the Europa League is a priority for us. We won it a couple of years ago under the Jose Mourinho era. We're beating Ajax in the final by 2-0. So the Europa League's a chance of us getting some silverware on the board under Solskjaer. And plus, it's another route to Champions League football. So I do believe, Manchester United can, win the Europa League. So it's very, very good now that we are in the last 16 of the competition. I haven't seen the other draws and that, so I will have to, look that up a bit later on. So Manchester United, we'll delve into the preview now. Manchester United go up against Everton this Sunday at Goodison Park. We are looking to make it, our third win on the trot in the Premier League. And, we're on a good run of form at the moment. We are unbeaten in our last 7 games in all competitions. I do believe Solskjaer will make changes, from the 5-0 win against Club Brugge yesterday. I think he'll make quite a lot of changes, will Solskjaer, definitely. But, this is going to be a very, very tough game. Like I mentioned, Everton are a really, really good side. They've got a lot of good attacking players of Everton. Obviously, they've got the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. They've got Richie Arlington. They've got Bernard. I think they have got a couple of injuries of Everton. I think Theo Walcott's just recently been injured. Also, too, Lucas Ding's been injured. I think he's going to be monitored, is Lucas Ding. Everton, of course, have got quite a few former Manchester United players in their squad. Schneiderlin. Of course, Michael Keane. I think, Yerry Mina's a very, very good centre-half. So Everton have got a lot of good players in their team, definitely. And I think, they have really improved since Carlo Ancelotti got recommended in of Everton. I think they've only lost twice in the league since Carlo Ancelotti got recommended in. Carlo Ancelotti is Everton's third manager of this season. So they're on their third manager. Before they had Carlo Ancelotti, they had Duncan Ferguson. He was obviously there as the interim manager. He's still the backroom staff. He's one of the backroom staff. He's Duncan Ferguson. And before Duncan Ferguson was there, Marco Silva was there. I think Everton, did make a mistake by getting rid of, Roberto Martinez, because I thought he enjoyed a good tenure with Everton. Don't forget they did have Ronald Koeman at one point. They had Sam Allardyce. Don't forget David Moyes enjoyed a long tenure with Everton. He enjoyed around the 10 or 11 year tenure with Everton, did David Moyes. So they've had, quite a few decent managers over the years of Everton. But Carlo Ancelotti is one of the most decorated managers of all time. When Everton did officially appoint him in, I think, he did sign like a 4.5-year deal. Probably more than likely he'll see out his contract, will Carlo Ancelotti. He's managed a variety of clubs. I think Everton is actually, the 10th club he's managing in his managerial career. Obviously, he was in the Premier League before he was at Everton, because don't forget, he did win the double with Chelsea, was it back in 2010? He won trophies, with Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and PSG. Don't forget, when he was a lot younger, he managed quite a few clubs in Italy, did Carlo Ancelotti. Obviously, he did get sacked from Napoli earlier on in the season, but you've got to praise him for what he's done. He has done a very, very good job. Everton did lose their last league game against Arsenal 3-2. But I thought Everton were really, really unlucky in that game, because they did have a lot of chances. They created a lot of chances, did Everton. So there was very, very unlucky. There was very, very unlucky in that. So this is going to be a tough test for Manchester United. I think, we're 5 points ahead of Everton at the moment. Yes, we are 5 points ahead of them at the moment. But, this is a must-win game for Man United as well, because we do want to keep our top 4 ambitions alive. We are in that top 4 race because we are only 3 points behind Chelsea. 5th place is a Champions League spot now anyway, reflecting on Manchester City's ban from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. Obviously, Everton have had a good record against us at Goodison Park in recent years. I think they have won 4 of their last 7 home games against us. Of course, Everton did win this fixture last season at Goodison Park by 4-0. That's one of our heaviest defeats under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, era. And don't forget, Solskjaer did come out and apologise after that 4-0 defeat to Everton last season. But it is one of the heaviest defeats we've had under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They also did beat us, 3-0 at Goodison back under the Louis van Gaal era. They beat us 2-0 there under the David Moyes era. So they have beat us quite a few times at Goodison Park of Everton. Solskjaer has come out and basically, said Manchester United will not capitulate, like we did do last season. But, look at the players that were involved in that game last season when we lost 4-0. Obviously, Chris Smalling and Jones were playing at the back, I think. Of course, Romelu Lukaku was still there. Obviously, Smalling's obviously, out on loan. Smalling's out on loan at Roma, of course. I don't think he will be coming back to Manchester United, Chris Smalling. Maybe Roma will consider making his transfer permanent. I think he's liking it in Italy's Smalling. Smalling did enjoy 9 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we've still got Phil Jones here. I think he's one of the players that will go in the summer because he doesn't get any chances now anyway, does Phil Jones? His appearances are limited, and he's also been a long-serving player as Jones. And obviously, Lukaku, we sold him last summer to Inter Milan. Looking at it from a financial point of view, I'm happy, with the money we generated from his departure. But I think, looking back at it now, we made a mistake by getting rid of Romelu Lukaku. And, of course, we did purchase him from Everton for around £75 million. But I think this game on Sunday will be totally comparison to the one last season. Of course, the game at Old Trafford earlier on in the season between the sides was 1-1. But, yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting game. We won our last league game against Watford by 3-0. That was last week. That was a very, very good performance by Manchester United. Obviously, we saw Bruno Fernandes in that game scoring his first goal for the club. We also saw Martial scoring, and we also saw Mason Greenwood scoring, and plus Bruno Fernandes had got an assist in that game. So we did comfortably beat Watford. And you saw my match reaction this morning to the game against Club Brugge. We're beating Club Brugge by 5-0 at Old Trafford yesterday. That's probably, one of our biggest wins under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think actually the biggest win under Solskjaer was the 6-0 win against Tranmere in the Cup. And I think that's actually, our biggest away win since 1999 when we beat Forest by 8 goals to 1. Yeah, I think a lot of United fans, will remember that rightly. But yeah, we had beaten Club Brugge comfortably. Obviously, it was 6-1 on aggregate in total. Solskjaer, had made several changes from the first leg from the Jan Bredel Stadium. He made around 7 changes. He made 5 changes from the 3-0 win against Watford. Obviously, Romero coming to the team. Bay was playing alongside Maguire. Obviously, McTominay, made his first start, since Boxing Day because McTominay's just recently come back from injury. Of course, Odi Nagalo made his full debut for the football club. But it was a very, very good performance by Manchester United yesterday night. It was expected to happen because, like I mentioned, Club Brugge are a very, very poor team. They are good in Belgium because they are sitting top of the Belgian league. But, their record against English opposition is disastrous. And they're just basically, a very, very poor team. And they're not good in Europe, are they? If we'd have scored one more goal, the aggregate score would have been, exactly the same as the one back in the 2015-16 Champions League playoffs when we did play Club Brugge. Of course, Club Brugge got a player sent off. Simon Dele got sent off for a blatant handball, from Daniel James's shot. Obviously, it was good to see Bruno Fernandes, score his second goal for Manchester United. He scored from the penalty spot, and Bruno Fernandes he's the difference now in this Manchester United team. Is Bruno Fernandes? It's not only his goals and assists. He dictates the play well. His decision making is very, very good. He can pass the ball well. Very, very good player is Bruno Fernandes, to be quite honest with you. And he's predominantly a number 10. So I think he's one of the best players we've purchased is Bruno Fernandes, for, a long time, to be quite honest with you. But he's making a difference in the team. And I think his key to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's rebuilding process is Bruno Fernandes. But I am really, really delighted that we did get him in. He could have scored more goals looking at it. It was good to see Odion Ighalo scoring his first goal for the club and scoring on his full debut. I thought he also had a really, really good game, did Odion Ighalo. I don't see Man United getting him on a permanent transfer, unless he, hits the ground running or if we had to get more injuries to our attacking players. He's just a good cover up for Rashford, basically, is Odion Ighalo, but he's a lifelong Manchester United fan. Matt had got the assist for Odion Ighalo's second. The third goal, McTominay, he took his goal really, really well. Fred also got the assist for that. And Fred scored the last two goals. And, Fred is flourishing as a Manchester United player. Lingard had got the assist for Fred's two goals. I've been very, very impressed with Fred. I thought he was also very, very good in Ukraine when he was at Shakhtar Donetsk, was Fred. But, I do like him a lot. I still don't think he's emulated to that level as yet. He hasn't got to that level as yet, but, he will get to that level, I do believe, Fred. He never really got the opportunity under Jose Mourinho, let's be honest. But I think there were Fred's first two goals for 17 or 18 months. But, I think he's done really, really well for Manchester United as Fred. And I think Solskjaer's also, delighted, with his performances, definitely. But yeah, it was a very, very good performance by Man United. And I read some of the stats. We had 28 shots on goal and we created around 25 chances. So that just indicates how dominant we were. Club Brugge didn't even register one single shot on target in the game. But yeah, so we move on to Everton now, and this is going to be a very, very difficult game against Everton, like I've just mentioned. Let's give you some team news building up to the game. I've got some big news regarding Anthony Martial. There is negativity coming out regarding Anthony Martial, because Solskjaer did confirm that Anthony Martial was left out of the squad for the game against Club Brugge because he had sustained a thigh injury in training. I don't know how severe the injury is of Martial's. Hopefully his injury is not too severe. But there's been reports coming out saying that, he may not be available to play on Sunday against Everton. So if he isn't available, then more than likely Odion Ighalo will take his place, Anthony Martial's. And he has sustained quite a few injuries this season as Anthony Martial. And he's recently rejuvenated himself as well as Anthony Martial. So he may not be involved on Sunday. Solskjaer's basically said, there's still aspects of Martial's game that does need to improve, but a lot of people in general anyway are saying we should revert him back to the left and keep Odion Ighalo in that number 9. Fosu-Mensah and Tuanzebe, like Solskjaer did reveal prior to the Club Brugge game, he said, they're close to reserve game or behind closed doors, but they are stepping up their fitness regime, which is very, very good. We do now know that McTominay is back. That's another positive. Obviously, we know Rashford, I think he's going to be out for the rest of the season, is Marcus Rashford. Well, Solskjaer did confirm he's going to be out for at least the next couple of months, is Rashford. But, and also, could miss the European Championships, obviously, if he's not fully fit. But like I mentioned, Rashford has been one of our best players this season, so we know he's not going to play any part in the game. Neither too is Paul Pogba. He's not going to play any part in the game either. Who needs Pogba now? I think Bruno Fernandes, Bruno Fernandes is basically fulfilling Paul Pogba's role. And I think we can afford to let Paul Pogba go. I think he's on his way out of the football club in the summer. I think when he leaves in the summer, he'll either go to Real Madrid or Juventus, will Paul Pogba. He'll either go to Real Madrid or Juventus. He has been out for the vast majority of this season with injury. Pogba's only played around 8 games this season, but his appearances have been limited. He hasn't started a game from the start since September as Pogba. Solskjaer did say not too long ago that, Paul Pogba's return is not imminent, but, Paul Pogba did say he's close to returning, so he's stepping up his fitness regime. The earliest we are looking at Pogba being back is for the Manchester City game. So I think Paul Pogba will play again for Manchester United before he does decide to leave the club in the summer. Now, we've quoted out what we want for Pogba in the summer. We said we want £150 million. Obviously, we want to, get more money than what we paid for him, because we paid £89 million for him. He's our most expensive signing, is Pogba. Real Madrid came out the other week and said they only value Pogba at 50 million. So that's 3 times less than what we're demanding and that. I think his preference is a move to Juventus. Of course, Paul Pogba's agent has been coming out talking. Don't forget he was, a lot of United fans were very, infuriated with some of the stuff he was coming out and saying. And the likes of Solskjaer and Gary Neville were very, very critical of his agent, Mini Raiola. But he said he's likely to leave anywhere in the summer if Manchester United fail to qualify for the Champions League. But yeah, I think he's on his way out of the football club in the summer, is Paul Pogba. It will generate a lot of money for his departure. It'll help us more with our rebuilding process, and plus, it'll free up our wage bill a little bit because Pogba is one of the highest paid players at the football club. Pogba was also coming out talking about Liverpool, saying that they deserve to be where they are, but obviously, he doesn't want them to win the title. So this is, what he basically come out and said. Diego Dalot's just recently come back from injury as well because he sustained quite a few injuries this season. Yeah, so that's a bit of the team news. And, like I mentioned with Everton, they've got a couple of injuries. There's some players that aren't in good form for Everton. I don't think Sigurdsson's been in good form for them recently. He's got a good goal scoring record against us. This is when obviously he was at Swansea. Andrea Gomez for Everton's done well since he come back. I think was it from breaking his leg. So Everton have got a lot of good attacking players. That could cause us all sorts of problems. Also, too, Lee Grant's injured. He's another long-term absence for Man United. So maybe in this game against Everton, the likes of maybe Mason Greenwood could start. Mason Greenwood did start our last Premier League game against Watford. Got his name on the score sheet, like I mentioned. Also, too, he didn't play in the first leg against Bruges because he was out with illness, but he came on in the game yesterday, Greenwood. He can play as a number 9. He's also an option for that right-hand side. Maybe as he develops more, Greenwood, it could be our complete number 9 striker, good Greenwood, definitely. So maybe he will be involved against Everton. I expect Lindelof to be involved. Lindelof didn't play yesterday night, didn't he? He didn't play. It was Harry Maguire alongside Bay in our back line. Some people would prefer Bay at the moment because, since Bay's come back, he's done really, really well. He's had 2 good games. He had a good game yesterday. He also had a good game against Chelsea when we beaten them by 2-0. Of course, Matic wasn't playing yesterday because obviously it was McTominay and Fred in our midfield. Maybe Matic could be involved in this game against Everton. Neither was Williams. He wasn't involved in the game yesterday night. So, they all could, be in contention to be involved in the game. So now we will get on with the starting 11 prediction. Probably Solskjaer, will stick with the 4-2-3-1 formation because he has been going with that formation on a regular basis this season. From my own perception, doesn't really seem to suit our standards, the 4-2-3-1. I think we look more expansive with 3 at the back, to be quite honest with you. But people will have different perceptions, on, the formations that, Manchester United do go with. But I'm going to go with the 4-2-3-1. So we'll see De Gea back, obviously. Romero's playing yesterday, because Romero tends to play in the cup games. So De Gea will be back in goal. And Wan-Bissaka will keep his place at right back. And Wan-Bissaka has, done very, very well for Manchester United. Very, very good right back is Wan-Bissaka. Centre back partnership, probably Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof or Maguire and Bay. But I'll go with Maguire and Lindelof. Left back, probably Luke Shaw will be at left back. The 2 midfielders, Fred and McTominay, of course. Well, some people believe actually, Matic is a better solution than McTominay, but I disagree. I think, McTominay is a better solution than Matic. To be fair, Matic has recently rejuvenated himself, so, I will give him the credit. He's recently done well as the Matic for Man United. But, my preference would be McTominay over him. The 3 attackers, obviously, Bruno Fernandes in the number 10. Probably on the left, more than likely, it will be Daniel James on that left-hand side. I think Man United have been overplaying Daniel James this season. He's played over 30-odd games this season in all competitions as Daniel James. I don't think he's been brilliant in the last month or so, but I think he's done really, really well in his last 2 games, as Daniel James. Probably on the right-hand side. I think on the right will probably start Mason Greenwood, and I think up top it will be Odion Ighalo. It could be Martial Martial could be involved. It depends how severe his injury is, but there's reports saying that he is a doubt for the game against Everton. But yeah, so that is your starting 11 prediction. Odion Ighalo is set to make his full debut in the Premier League for Manchester United, and hopefully he can get his name on the score sheet on Sunday. By the way, this is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Carlo Ancelotti's first meeting as managers. I think it's their first meeting as managers. Yes, it is, because I think when we drew them 1-1 early on in the season, obviously, they did have Duncan Ferguson in at that point. But, it's going to be a very, very interesting game. But it is a game Manchester United do need to win. We haven't lost in the league since, that 2-0 defeat to Burnley, which was back in January. But since then, we have, built some momentum. There's been a lot of confidence in the team. And, we've been getting, some decent results. So, obviously, what we need to do now is continue doing this. We've also, kept a lot of clean sheets. So, that's also a positive as well. So, take that into account. So take that into account and that. My perception on Solskjaer is that maybe he does deserve another season at Manchester United, because this is his first full season at the football club at the moment. And as you are all aware, it is a transition period for Man United. And like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful, that we can get through this transition. But if he is to be given another season at Man United, he has got many expectations to exceed. Now, for us to be, competitive and for us to be title contenders going on into next season, we've got to recruit the right players to Manchester United this summer. I think we need around 3 to 4 signings in the summer if, we are to be, competitive and that. But, if we can, if we can qualify for the Champions League, we'll generate money for that. And plus, the resources of the club in general will be better if we get the Champions League. Obviously, Solskjaer said, Man United will suffer again without Champions League football, because obviously it did confirm yesterday. There was reports coming out saying that our revenue is predicted to drop by around £70 million from around £627 million. Obviously, that's what's been going into the football club, but it's dropped because the main explanation is because Manchester United are not in the Champions League. So, we need to qualify for the Champions League, definitely. But I still believe Manchester United can do it. We can get some silver around the board. We can either win the Europa League. We are still in the FA Cup. The FA Cup is also a priority for Manchester United. I'd love us to win the FA Cup, because we haven't won it since the Louis van Gaal era. So, that would be very, very nice. But we are only 3 points behind top 4. I think, we did give Solskjaer the job too early. We did, give the main explanation why we give Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis is reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager, because he did really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Won his first 8 games, won 14 out of 19 in all competitions, and that was enough to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. I know mainly since he got the job permanently, we've endured a difficult time and he has been under so much pressure at the club. The only main explanation why I think we've stuck with him is because he is a club legend. Disregarding him being a club legend, I probably think, Solskjaer would have been gone by now. But, to be fair, we've had some good results under him. We've done really, really well against elite opposition. We've beaten Tottenham this season. We've beaten City this season twice. That's also a positive. We've beaten Chelsea, 4-0 on the opening day this season. Solskjaer's got a really, really good record against Chelsea, since he got recommended in as Man United manager. So that's also a positive. I think he's beaten Frank Lampard around 3 times. We just haven't really replicated against lower opposition, what we've done against elite opposition. So that is an element of concern. And it's amazing how we can still get the top 4, because, we've endured our worst start to a Premier League season ever for around 30 years. So it just indicates how poor the Premier League has been this season. A lot of teams have been poor in the Premier League this season without a shadow of a doubt. But, since Solskjaer's come in, he's spent, 220 million at the club on recommending new players in. Of course, last summer brought Daniel James in, and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire. And of course, in January, he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odin Igalo in. So he's brought some good players in his Solskjaer. Yeah, I mean, if he's still to be here in the summer, Solskjaer, I think it will be his fourth transfer window as Manchester United manager. But there is a lot of players on our agenda who we could go in for in the summer. The likes of Sancho, Grealish, they're all on our agenda, them players. Also, too, we've recently expressed an interest in Timo Werner, but it's likely he will go to Liverpool. But yeah, we need to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer without a shadow of a doubt. Ed Woodward, don't forget, he's been talking. He says, he's determined to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He says, he's laid the foundations for the long-term success with Solskjaer, and he's lining up around the £250 million, spree, So Ed Woodward is determined to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that, this is what he basically, come out and said. But yeah, so probably more than likely, he will be Manchester United manager, next season. And obviously, if we don't do well next season, I think that's when Manchester United will sack him. I think we probably look better under Solskjaer than what we did do a year ago because it was poor towards the back end of last season. But yes, some managers do deserve time. My element of concern about Solskjaer is he's inexperienced as a manager. He's been tactically naive for the vast majority of this season. Similar sort of situation with Mourinho at Tottenham. He's very tactically naive with Tottenham, Jose Mourinho. I think, when we had, when we were very, very poor under Mourinho, don't forget, and now, Tottenham are doing the same thing as we did when we had Jose Mourinho, so take that into account, But if Solskjaer was to be sacked as Man United manager, I think we'd, either get Pochettino in or Massimiliano Allegri as our next manager. Manchester United are not really known for the sacking football club, despite the fact that we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. Moyes went, Van Gaal went, and Jose Mourinho went. Definitely. And I don't think Solskjaer will invoke Ferguson's legacy, but I don't think any team, any manager, would invoke Ferguson's legacy at the football club. Man United are one of the biggest clubs in the world. Fantastic history, fantastic fan base. More successful team in England. Won 3 back-to-back titles back in 07, 08 and 09. One of the club's greatest achievements was from 1999. So, we are one of the biggest clubs in the world, definitely. And, like nearly £1 billion being spent in the club in the last 6 or 7 years. Hell of a lot of money's been spent into Manchester United. I also believe that we should have got a director of football in. That's also another mistake Man United did make. Because I did say that's one of the structural changes that we need at the football club. And that. But yeah, so revert back to what I said. I'm really, really looking forward to this game against Everton. We've got games coming up thick and fast, and we are going to be making a lot of rotation. With the games that are coming up. Everton on Sunday, Derby coming up as well. In the FA Cup 5th round. Reuniting with Wayne Rooney. Rooney's a player manager for Derby. Rooney's our all-time leading goal scorer with 253 goals in all competitions. Then we go at home to City on the 8th of March. And then we go to, Tottenham then. So games are coming up thick and fast for Man United. But, the good news is players are now coming back from injury, which is very, very good to see. Yeah, very, very good to see, to be honest with you. So, anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. And I'll see you guys all again very, very soon.